Hi guys, my name is Diksha Singh. I qualified UGC NET with JRK in June 2024 cycle and also qualified GATE in the same year. And then I worked in a private college for some time and right now I enrolled in a PhD program. A lot of you have been preparing for this UGC NET exam and you must be thinking that what do we exactly do after qualifying UGC NET exam? So in this video, I'm going to share my knowledge and experience regarding this topic and I think it will help you immensely. So keep on watching because in this video, I also going to share the mistakes I did so that you can avoid them. Okay, so let's start. So before starting this video, I want to tell you that UGC NET is not like UPSC, SSC or any other exams that give you job right after qualifying it. It's an eligibility test that gives you eligibility for a lot of things actually, but that is the main reason why there's so much confusion around it. So in this video, I hope that this confusion clears out and I hope it will help you immensely.
Friends, if you are looking for more PYQs on this topic, you can refer to the Unit 10 questions in my UGC NET Paper 1 book that provides you with 6500 plus solved unit-wise questions with detailed solutions and hints. But hey, what if you are looking for online mock tests that can help you practice questions in online exam format? If that's what you are looking for, you can join our newly updated online mock test series with a wide range of full-length tests available on the Arpita Karwa learning app. These tests perfectly replicate the UGC NET exam interface, providing you with a real-life exam experience. Plus, after each test, you'll receive a detailed performance report and see where you stand in the All India leaderboard.
The first thing that I would suggest to you before starting anything is that you make a LinkedIn profile. Yes. Make a LinkedIn profile as early as possible. I made it right after qualifying UGC NET, but it's not important. It's not necessary that you make it after qualifying UGC NET. You can make it during your master's and it will really help you in networking actually. So now we will look at all the possible opportunities that you get after qualifying UGC NET. Okay, so there's two major options you can say that you have after qualifying UGC NET. First is the job. Second is the research. In job, you have a lot of options. Like say private colleges or universities, government vacancies. Third is you can be a UGC NET mentor. You can teach in online or offline coachings and you can teach in YouTube also. Okay, let's look at them one by one. Let's say that you want to work right after qualifying UGC NET. So what you can do is make a list of all the possible universities and colleges that you want to work in. You can go to their website and submit your CV. They will eventually contact you and you have to appear for the interview. And if they like you, you will be selected and that's it. Another interesting option is that you can be a UGC NET mentor in online or offline coaching institute. There are a lot of options or maybe you can start your own paid course. And if you don't want to work for someone else and you can take the risk of starting your own business, then YouTube is always an option. You can post your videos in YouTube. One thing I forgot to tell you is that UGC NET also gives you the eligibility to appear for the state PSC assistant professor exam. The thing is that different states release their permanent vacancies through PSC exam. For that, the eligibility is that either you have UGC NET certificate or you have PhD. So if you are a UGC NET qualified candidate, you can appear. It's a very good option actually because it gives you the chance to get the permanent job. Okay, so that's it for the job part. Now let's move to the research part.
Friends, you'll be glad to know that my UGC NET Paper 1 book has been praised for its innovative teaching style by the legendary Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. Further, if you're looking for video lectures that can explain the plot of important works of Paper 2 English, then consider enrolling in my online course for UGC NET English. I'm proud to launch India's first animated video course where I've explained over 500 important plays, novels, and poems in an engaging way. For more details, check out the description box.
As you know that after qualifying UGC NET, you can get enrolled in a PhD program. For that too, you have 3 categories. Category first is the UGC NET with JRF, in that you get stipend, a very good amount. The second category is qualified for assistant professorship and admission to PhD. And the third is only qualified for PhD. Both the second and the third categories are valid for 1 year only. That means you would have to get enrolled in a PhD program in 1 year. Otherwise, it will not be valid anymore. For teaching, to work as an assistant professor, it is valid throughout. And the GR validity is for 3 years actually. To apply for PhD, I would suggest you that you apply in as many universities as possible, especially if you have qualified UGC NET in the second or the third category. That means that you only have 1 year to apply for the PhD program. But it can be expensive at times because PhD forms are not very cheap. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is that you have a research proposal beforehand. If possible, make more than one, but at least make one research proposal beforehand, because preparing research proposal takes a lot of time. And it's not just that you have to make a research proposal. You are expected to understand the area really well. For that too, you need a lot of time. Another thing that I would suggest you to reach out to professors if possible. Go and meet them, talk about your area, talk about your interest. They will guide you, they feedback of your research proposal, and you can shape your research proposal accordingly. It will be really, really helpful for you. One more thing that you need to keep in mind is that, as I said earlier, that read extensively. You make sure that you know each and every word that you mention in your research proposal before going to the interview. You know the text that you have mentioned in the proposal, and you know at least an overview of the area. At least you have something to say if anything is asked from your research proposal. In the PhD interviews, there's this thing that they don't ask you from anywhere. They will ask you from your research proposal. So you are expected to have a deeper understanding of your proposed area of interest. Okay, so read extensively, gain deeper knowledge, seek feedback from your seniors or professors, as I said earlier. But make sure that you don't send your research proposal to anyone randomly, because people can steal your ideas. Last thing I would like to tell you is that appear for as many interviews as possible, because that is how you will get better at it. In your first few interviews, there is chance that you may not perform really well, but it will also shape you and your proposal. In interviews, they give you feedback where you're lacking, what you should add more. You can take from it and apply accordingly. So that was it regarding the job and the research part. Now I would like to share some tips with you. First is, don't wait. Start preparing as early as possible. Start preparing during your masters if possible for you. Of course, you don't need to take a lot of stress, but it's better that day. Next is, read a lot. Read a lot about new emerging areas so that you can check what interests you and you have a potential area of interest so that you don't waste a lot of time finding an interesting area for you. The third tip that I would like to share with you is start networking. Yes. Make a LinkedIn profile, talk to professors, attend conferences because networking will eventually help you getting a lot of opportunities. Okay, so that's it for today. I think I have covered everything that I planned to. Yes. Still, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section. I would love to answer them for you. Okay, bye.